For more than a decade, Xbox has chased almost every strategy imaginable. They bought some of the biggest game studios in games history, they bet on Game Pass subscriptions, they pushed cloud gaming, they even stopped caring where you play your games. And yet somehow, even through all of that, one question always remained. Why the hell should I buy an Xbox, dude? And they really haven't given a solid answer to that. And I don't think another acquisition is going to solve it. I don't think adding some other service to Game Pass is going to solve it. And I definitely don't think that they need to keep talking about what they're going to do to improve things at Xbox, considering their strategy has changed like 68,000 times within the past 10 years. I think what they really need to do right now is just remind people why they fell in love with Xbox in the first place. Because with a new generation creeping over the horizon, this might be their literal final attempt to actually make things work and turn things around. So today, I want to talk about what I think Xbox needs to do to restore some hope within gamers and actually have a chance at having a real future in the industry. Now, if you guys don't know, if you've seen my channel before, I've talked a lot of shit about Xbox. I'm a lapsed Xbox fan. I used to love Xbox. I love Halo. Xbox 360 is a treasure, one of the greatest consoles ever, and Xbox, of course, has some of the biggest and best franchises. The unfortunate thing is that it's been unbelievably mismanaged for what feels like 10 years now. Xbox has had attempt after attempt to let you know that they're the big guys, that they're the only ones that matters, that they have the biggest and best games, and that the best place to play those games is on Xbox. But it's not true, and it hasn't been true for a very long time. They've been playing catch up since the late Xbox 360 generation. Honestly, since PS3 started to really turn it around and give us games like Uncharted, give us the entire Uncharted trilogy, give us The Last of Us, at that point, PlayStation kind of sealed the deal. And they let us know that if you want the best games, they're on PlayStation. And if you want the best experience, well, that would be on PlayStation 4. And Phil Spencer, the former head of Xbox, was absolutely right when he said, "We lost the worst generation to lose in the Xbox One generation, where everybody built their digital library of games. When you go and you're building on Xbox, we want our Xbox community to feel awesome. But this idea that if we just focused more on great games on our console, that somehow we're going to win the console race doesn't really lay into the reality of most people." And he's absolutely right. There was a time there at the reveal of the Xbox One where people who were ready to commit their future to Xbox were just lasered in. They were so ready. They were ready to be blown away by what Xbox One was going to be offering. And instead, they were like, wouldn't it be cool if you could watch sports on your Xbox? Let's turn it into a TV. Let's make it a media device. It should be one. It should be the one piece of hardware in your living room. Xbox One. We're bringing everything together in one. Dumb fucking idea, dude. Meanwhile, PlayStation was like, here's some cool games. Here's even more cool games. Oh yeah, by the way, instead of everything being tied to some dumb license, here, you can just hand your game to your friend and that's how you trade games. It was one video, one short, honestly 30-second video that completely turned the tides for PlayStation and cemented them as the place to play games. And since that moment, Xbox has been crawling their way back, trying to reach the tippy top, and they're not anywhere close. Right now, we're looking at a console generation where Xbox is behind in numbers by like 70 million units. According to recent sales numbers, PlayStation 5 is estimated to have sold just under 100 million units. Meanwhile, Xbox is barely there at under 40 million. They're not even a competitor at this point. They're literally fighting a fight that the other person doesn't even know is happening. That's how non-existent they are in PlayStation's mind right now. They don't have a chance. So what can they possibly do to make things better? Well, unfortunately, right now it doesn't seem like much. They've brought in Asha Sharma to lead Xbox to a new future, and she's already done a whole bunch of changes, essentially cleaning up the mess that Phil Spencer and his team left behind. And one of the first things they've done is launch Xbox Player Voice, where they're basically getting feedback from their dedicated audience, letting them know that things that they've done so far aren't working, and here's the changes that we want to see. One of those changes being more exclusives. Gears of War E-Day and Clockwork Revolution are not timed exclusives, Xbox says, and they'll never launch on PlayStation. As part of our focus on the return of Xbox, we also announced that Gears of War E-Day and Clockwork Revolution will be Xbox console exclusives. These are not timed exclusives, and games already announced for multi-platform release will stick to that plan. We're committed to investing in and growing Xbox both on console and beyond. Now, here's the thing about this. I think they're right. I think this is one of the things that they're doing right to get people interested in the future of Xbox. There are a lot of people that think that exclusives don't sell consoles, and I think that's ridiculous, because if you look at anybody with a Nintendo Switch and a Switch 2, the reason why they buy those isn't because they can take it on the go. It's because it's the only place to play Nintendo game. Most people have a dedicated hardware, like for example, their PC or a PS5, and their secondary system is a Switch, because the main driving force behind getting that console is the Nintendo first-party games. So Xbox needs something like that. Xbox needs a reason for you to be interested in Xbox. The unfortunate thing is that part of this plan is that they're releasing all of those Xbox games also on PC, which means somebody like me, who right now I have a PS5 for the sole purpose of playing PlayStation exclusives, because I like to play everything. So I have PS5 for PlayStation exclusives, I have a Switch for Switch exclusives, and I have my PC for literally everything else. But part of that everything else is Xbox game. Because Xbox is trying so hard to be integrated with PC, because of course Windows, Microsoft, duh, that everything comes to PC. So there is no reason for somebody like me, or realistically anyone who is a PC gamer, to buy an Xbox. And this is a mistake. It's the same thing with Game Pass, where Game Pass is honestly one of the best deals in gaming, by far, truly is. But Game Pass is a fucking mistake. Because what you're offering people is, for example, Halo Campaign Evolved, a game that I'm very much looking forward to. I love Halo. But for many, many people, they're going to be like, well, I can either buy the game and spend $100, or when it comes out on Game Pass, I'll subscribe to Game Pass for 1 month because it's launching day and date, and I'll spend $15. I'll play the game, I'll beat it, I'll cancel my subscription. That's a lot of money lost for Xbox, dude. And what's going to come of that is they're going to be like, well, the game didn't make any money, the studio didn't make any money, so let's fucking cut them, and clearly we did everything wrong here. They'll learn the wrong lessons and they'll blame the wrong people. I think part of Xbox's future means that Xbox games need to be Xbox console exclusive, time at least. If you're gonna bring them to PC, totally fine, but it needs to happen later. Or not all games need to come to PC. Same with PlayStation, where they're gonna bring their big multiplayer games to PC and PS5, but a lot of those PS5 exclusives and PlayStation exclusives are locked, dedicated to their hardware. Xbox needs to follow that. And the only reason why they're not doing that right now is because they have zero install base. They have nobody to appeal to, which is part of why for their next generation, for Project Helix, I think it's very important that that's what they do. Get people interested in your hardware, because the only place to play these huge, incredible games is on Xbox hardware. Not on PC, not on Game Pass day one, but on Xbox hardware. The only issue with that right now is the current price of hardware. Hardware is unbelievably overpriced. You can see it with the Steam Machine launching at $1,500 Canadian, which apparently is almost double the price that they wanted to release it at. You can also see it with the current price of Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5. These consoles have never been more expensive. Normally, a few years after a console is released, the price goes down. This time, they've only gone up. Obviously, that's due to the current state of the world being absolutely fucking shit, and that's the price that us consumers have to pay. So of course, with Project Helix, they're looking at a price range that's gonna be pretty fucking huge, dude. And that's not good. That's not good for getting people to switch over to your new hardware, which Xbox desperately needs. And the unfortunate thing is that analysts also don't think that they're going to switch over. PlayStation 6 could outsell Xbox Project Helix by roughly 10 million units before 2030. They forecast that PlayStation 6 could launch in 2028 and sell roughly 4 million units in its first year, and scaling to just over 17 million by 2030. Now, obviously, these figures don't look like much, especially when you take into consideration the Nintendo Switch 2 selling 17 million in its first year, but this is a whole lot better than what they think the Xbox might see around the same time. The firm predicts that Project Helix will sell about 2 million units in its first year and rising to just 7.3 by 2030. Now, obviously, once again, this is not good, because again, Xbox is coming in short. Again, Xbox is going to appeal to a lower amount of players. And what happens in that case is that Xbox needs to make their games available in more places than one, which means if they continue on this trend of releasing games multi-platform, which it kind of seems like they will, it's given you another reason to not buy an Xbox. So I think personally, if you want somebody, a dedicated hardcore gamer like me, to buy an Xbox, you need to cut multi-platform, you need to cut Game Pass day one, and you need to make every game Xbox console exclusive. And part of that is today's huge announcement from Bethesda, dude. And this is a step in the right direction because they're being honest with their players and they're talking the good talk, dude. They're talking about what people want, what people want to hear. And what people want to hear is that there are remasters for Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas, both in the works. And that the future of Fallout is Fallout 5, and it's Bethesda's long-term destination with the game currently being in pre-production. This is huge, man, because people are in love with Fallout. And it's crazy that it took them this long to get to this point, to actually make this stuff reality. Xbox has been sitting here wondering, like, do fans want AA games? Do fans want weird indies? You know, we have these huge franchises like Halo and Fallout, but then Elder Scrolls and stuff, but let's just develop Keeper. That's what gamers want. I mean, I don't know what they're doing. I don't know how it took them this long to decide that they need to remake these games and they need to put out huge games that people actually care about. But what they need to do now with these is only offer them on Xbox. Yes, they will not sell anywhere near as many copies if it was available in other places. And like Phil Spencer says in one of his quotes, there is no world where Starfield is an 11 out of 10 and people start selling their PS5s. That's not going to happen. But maybe it will. If you release the Elder Scrolls 6 and Fallout 5 and Fallout 3 Remake and New Vegas Remake only on Project Helix, you're going to sell some systems, man. You're going to sell a lot of systems. People love Fallout and people love the Elder Scrolls, man. Think of Skyrim. Think how many copies Skyrim has sold. And yes, of course, obviously Skyrim has been available in 86,000 places and it's been re-released 99,000 times. So of course it'll sell a lot of copies, but people love it. It could be a system seller, man. It really could. And one thing that Xbox could do right now as a huge PR move, aside from this Bethesda announcement, which is already a great PR move, they could come out with their own video of Aisha Sharma and Matt Booty handing each other a disc and saying, we believe in physical games on Xbox. I know they don't want to. Nobody wants to. Let's be real here, okay? No actual system manufacturer wants discs. Nobody cares about discs. They want it to be digital only. It's been digital only on PC for like 20 years. Every console is going digital only. The next gen is digital only for real. But if Xbox wants some great PR, they can be like, hey, we're just gonna make a separate disc drive. It'll cost an extra $50 and physical games will cost an extra $10. But we're gonna have physical games going forward in the future. You're gonna win over a lot of people, at least in a PR move. Now, I don't truly believe that tons of people are going to ditch their PS5 and start buying a Project Helix just because it has discs. I don't really think so, because obviously those PS5 discs won't work on their Helix. So they're still going to lose their library whether they like it or not. But it's a good PR move, man. And that's what Xbox needs right now. Xbox needs no more Game Pass Day 1, console exclusives, games that people care about, good PR moves like bringing discs back, and letting gamers know that the best place to play is on Xbox. And the way they can do that is try to also cut the price of Helix as much as they can, or offer ways that people can play without spending a fortune. And I think they want to by going more in the cloud gaming route. I know they just fired the guy from that, so maybe not. But I think what Xbox needs to do is just hit non-stop good PR moves right now and let gamers know that Helix will have the best games only on Xbox, not PC, only on Xbox. It will be cheaper than PS5. Maybe the games will be subsidized, something. They have to subsidize it somehow. They need to do about 10 things right to secure their future. Because if they don't, no one's gonna buy Helix and all of their games will be multi-platform and Xbox will cease to exist as hardware. I want them to continue. I would love that. I want a reason to buy an Xbox. Give me a reason to buy an Xbox.